It is 6:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. If you'll stand for the invocation. Pastor Clark, if you'd be so kind.
Sure. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the opportunity to be here tonight and do and observe the business of the city. We're thankful for our city staff. We're supremely thankful, Lord, for the city council, for all that they do. I pray that tonight that you will give clear minds, clear hearts, harmony and peace, and wisdom to make the decisions that are best for the city. We praise you and thank you. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and call this council meeting to order at 6:31. Ms. Liz, if you'll do a roll call.
Eric Shaw,
Here.
Brian Sims,
Here.
Adrian Flores,
Here.
Lisa DeGifford. Here. Emily Leach. Here. Steve Whitehead.
Here.
And Roy Brunson.
Yes, here.
Dr. Brian Mooney.
Here.
We have completely staffed and we have quorum.
Very next on the agenda is the consent agenda containing the minutes and financial statement.
Mr. Mayor, I have some corrections. Motion.
Was it correct?
Yes. I went over these with Liz, but so we have them on the record. Page 1, Emily's name is spelled incorrectly. Page 5, in 2 locations, Emily's name is spelled correctly, or incorrectly, sorry. Resolution number 8, the word any has an extra A in it. And then on the very last page, the resolution, Emily's name is spelled correctly, or incorrectly, sorry. And then announcements and discussion, there doesn't have anything on there regarding the building.
Mayor, can I make 2 suggestions? In the public forum, it has Cal Flynn as speaking in its title.
Okay.
And then on item 1, ordinance to rezone certain real estate property location in Benton County from urban thoroughfare commercial to C2 to R2. The last line says all commercial development will be done 200 feet along the highway. That whole lot was actually left for commercial.
You want that sentence removed?
Yeah,
Thank you.
because we have a development agreement in place as well.
Thank you.
With those corrections, you should mention.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question on our finances. We had a significant credit on our utilities. I was just trying to figure out what that credit was.
Significant credit on our utilities, is that what you said?
Yes.
I can go look it up for you.
I'm sorry?
I can go look it up for you if you like, or I can get back with you later. I don't know exactly what happened. Which fund, the Lowell Utilities Fund or the step deposits?
It is the, give me a second, I can tell you which account. It's the general fund 101, account 101-336-920-triple lot. Last month we had on our financial for last month, I didn't catch that, but we had a serious credit on there instead of a deficit for the month.
So it was in 336, which is, that's the police, I think. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, that was fire. Excuse me.
Okay,
I'm-
301 is police.
I'm trying to read it sideways, excuse me. It's the,
Are you saying there was a difference from what the total was last month to this month?
so it's the administration, utilities 101-172-920. At our last financial report we had, there was a significant credit that was on there.
Okay, 172 admin, yes, and which account did you say then? 920, is that what you said?
Yes.
And you're looking at the revenue and expenditure report.
Correct. Looking at the previous month, yes, previous month, we had a significant credit.
I'd have to go
Now-
look that up, and I'm happy to do that if you'd like me to.
Yes, I would love for you to get back to us on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. On the balance for general fund budget reserve, it shows $0, or a budget reserve unassigned for Regions Bank. As of 5/31, it has the normal amount of $244,697.61. Now that account is showing 0, what was that spent on?
I moved some reserve fund money from the general fund from for security to Regions because they were offering yet still a higher percentage return. So by making that change, and that's what that's all about, and by making that change, in addition to the extra $500,000 I talked about a couple of months ago, this will give us just $20,000 or $30,000 more, but hey, it's something, but that's what that's all about.
Okay, so that went from the general fund's checking for security, or to that account?
It wasn't in checking, it was in the general fund reserve for security.
Okay.
That was 5.7 million, it's now 3.7 million. I took that 2 million and put it in Regions Bank.
No, it was.
And there was no interest being made on the 240,000, so they combined that together.
No, as of 5/31, I'm seeing that general fund reserve as 3.7.
It was 5.7 the month before.
Yes.
This actually happened last month.
But
It was on there last
At
month.
the same time, that is 3.75 million, and the general fund budget reserve of Regions is 244,000. So both of those numbers are there. Now, as of this month, general fund reserve in First Security is still 3.7, but the general fund's budget reserve of Regions is 0. So where did that go?
The 244,000 is part of the $2.34 million. It was 2 million I transferred. They took the 244,000, 240 and some thousand, and added it to that. And then there was 100,000 in there, so that's the 2.3 million and change.
Okay, I see now. Thank you.
Yep. Any other finance questions?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Herb Shine,
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Brian Sands.
Yes.
Lisa Gifford,
Yes.
Emily Reach. Yes. Roy Brunson,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda as corrected is approved.
We did, Mayor, as a public forum, there's one who wishes to address the council.
Go ahead and open the vote forum at 6:42.
State name and address again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Trina Rambo, 1319 Lancelot. I'm here today to share information and invite you to our upcoming public candidate meet and greet for all individuals, regardless of party affiliation, that will be on the ballot in November 2026. This gathering will be on August 4th at 6 p.m. at Goat Lab in Lowell. It is open to every resident of our city and all residents of Benton County with a simple purpose: to help people become more informed and engaged voters. I invite every resident to attend. Bring your questions, bring your curiosity, and bring your commitment to making our community better. Thank you for your time and energy and dedication for serving on City Council, and thank you for supporting efforts that strengthen civic engagement for everyone.
Good evening. My name is Brian Clark, 806 Andrew Place. I want to begin by saying thank you to all of our city council members. I don't think we say that enough, and I'm guilty of that for sure. So thank you very much for all that you do. Just looking at the size of your packets every month, it's impressive. So thank you very much. I did come tonight, though, with a concern, something that's been weighing on me for the past couple of months that I just wanted to bring to your attention, and it is the recently adopted practice of ensuring 3 readings for each ordinance. Now, I do certainly understand that that is part of the code. I also understand, though, that it can be waived, as it has been for the past several years. I understand that at the best intent, the intention there is to provide transparency for the community. I actually think, though, that it does the opposite. I think it's difficult for community members to look at an agenda that's published online and see an item there and show up expecting to hear that discussed and go home finding out that it's not going to be that month. It may be the next, or it may be the following. I also think that this law is kind of a holdover from before the time that we're in today, where we have the digital means to actually share the packets out in advance and let everyone in the community or the city council become informed about what's going to be discussed. So I would encourage you to please consider going back to the practice that was used prior to this year of only having the 1 reading of an ordinance, unless you feel like there's a reason to do otherwise. I think currently what's being done is simplifying the ones that are complex instead of complexifying the ones that could be simple. And I think one thing that it causes is some inefficiency in government. One example that I have here is the recent master street plan that came before you. The master street plan that was proposed and submitted to you from the Planning Commission was approved at the Planning Commission on March 16th. At the April meeting, it was not read. At the May meeting, it was not read. At the June meeting, it was read and it was voted down, sent back to Planning Commission. So here we are 4 months later. We still don't have a new master street plan. And if the Planning Commission approved it tomorrow, it would be a minimum of 3 more months before that would get approved. I know that developers and businesses, when they look at our city and look at coming to our city, they do look at the master street plan and consider how much traffic they're going to have in the location that they're considering. And I think that that's one area where our city, we've kind of missed it a little bit by not keeping up with the times there. And I certainly understand that those things need to be discussed. But again, we did have a public forum at the Planning Commission. Everyone had the opportunity to share their thoughts. And then we waited 4 months to have another public forum where people were able to speak to it to the City Council. So I would just ask that you consider maybe simplifying that process and going back to the one reading. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name's Eric Kinsey. I live at 1511 Pack Cove here in Lowell. I grew up here in Lowell, and I wanted to address what's on the agenda tonight concerning the J.B. Hunt buildings. There are several items that are listed on there that specifically talk about what happens with the police department. It leaves off what happens with the fire department and the animal shelter. Those are also affected by the purchase of those buildings. With that being said, I have heard that part of the reason why this ordinance has come up was because the city is not in the act of buying and holding properties, which every city does that for expansion and growth, which is what we need. I have lived here since 1982. My grandmother came up in the late 20s and lived over where the parking lot is across the street from the church. Their house was torn down several years ago for that. Her and her 8 brothers and sisters grew up in that house. They have streets here in Lowell that are named after them. There are names of my family members on the fire department wall as founding members of the fire department. That building has been there since the early 80s, late 70s, and is in significant need of being replaced. With the purchase of those buildings on J.B. Hunt, that gives opportunity to do that. Whereas if those properties are made to be sold, that brings more cost to the city by trying to replace multiple buildings, multiple million-dollar buildings that are going to need to be built. So I'd like you all to really look at that before you go voting on whether or not that those buildings need to be sold. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public that wishes to speak? If not, we'll go ahead and, nope. Yes, sir.
My name is Shannon Sherman. I live at 20416 Blue Springs Road, and I'm simply here representing Ozark Adventure Park. I believe we're in addition to the agenda for tonight, so if you have any questions, I'll be here, basically just being available to you. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public that would wish to speak? Okay, seeing no one rush up to the podium, we'll go ahead and close the public forum at 6:50.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I would like to make an amendment to the agenda. I make a motion to add what I'm about to pass out. The first page. And this is a amendment to Rule 24 that the council has. Now, this vote would just be to allow it to be heard before the council, not to approve it or anything, just to hear it, and amend the agenda to reflect such. Now, there's two different versions here. In anticipation of an item placed or attempted to be placed on the agenda by a colleague, a council member, and he was ignored. His request was ignored to amend the agenda, to have an item placed on the agenda. And I had also directly asked to have an item placed on the agenda and was declined by Mr. Mayor directly. So we have two separate council members making two separate requests to have an item on the agenda, both being declined. What this would do is allow council members to add an item without administrative oversight or denial, and allow it to be heard before the council.
No.
What, just to speed this up, what exactly is the difference between the two?
The second page was in anticipation of Councilman Shine's, was it ordinance or resolution?
It was an ordinance.
An ordinance. Or his proposed ordinance to expand and restore the office of city clerk. And so the difference there is who makes the council packets.
Okay.
So first page is keeping that in the mayor's bucket. Second page is moving that packet to the city clerks. But I would just like to make a motion to the council that we amend the agenda to incorporate this tonight for discussion or possible vote. Seeking a second.
Adrian is going to read what it is currently.
Was that?
I was going to read what the rule is currently right now, number 24.
Sure.
I think that's what you're going to say. Right now it reads, responsible of the mayor to have his meeting agenda prepared across the council meetings. Individual city council members should contact the mayor's office if one desire to have item placed on the agenda. If the city council member is unable to have an item placed on the agenda in this way, then the member may make a motion to amend the agenda. Such motion shall require an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the whole city council. I guess the change is, instead of having a motion and a vote, Adrian, it is any member shall have the right to place an item on the agenda by providing the item, providing written notice to the mayor no less than 2 hours prior to the next meeting. On receipt, it shall be included. The mayor nor city clerk shall have the authority to deny or veto the inclusion. So it takes away the system that we have now of a vote, and it makes it a right of the council to add something to the agenda.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding. We had two council members that provided something they wanted on the agenda, and we're just told that's not going to happen. My question is, if that is the case, this makes sense, because if we're not allowed to talk outside of chambers, we are only allowed to talk inside of chambers, how are we supposed to discuss things if it doesn't make it to the agenda? That would be what it, is that what you're saying? Like, this would make it where it would go on the agenda just for discussion?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, actually, only one person made the request, which was you, and it was denied. Sarah sent an email out to both council members, and only one council member responded to that request, which was you. The other request was, there was no response.
But why are we denying again, if we can't talk outside and we have to do it here for FOIA, understandably so, why would we deny putting something on the agenda where we
Well, that
can't
is-
have a conversation?
And under the rule, I have that discretion, and we as staff discuss it, and through staff, we made the decision as staff to deny that request, and the explanation of that was given to the council member.
I would ask, how did that rule get made? Who put that in the rules and that we approved?
That rule was there well before my taking of office.
Okay. Well,
And that rule, I believe, is in effect in multiple other cities and including the county for that matter.
in effect, what it is a pre-veto. A post-veto of things that we adopt is already in effect for the administration. If we pass something, he can veto it. What this does is takes away the pre-veto that we can't even discuss something in our own meeting.
I think that's what you're doing right now, is you're discussing it, and by 2/3 majority, you can actually put it on the agenda.
Whereas if in some cases, it would need a simple majority only, so it ups the bar for being passed to 2/3 if it doesn't even get on the agenda.
Well, it also kind of takes away separation of powers.
Separation of powers means that we run our own meetings, and we decide what's on our own agenda.
But when you can.
Not
the
pre-veto
agenda
by
in the first
administration.
place, that's why the separation of powers are there.
This,
you can
this
create the
puts way
agenda
more
and
power in
run it.
administration. So we have a vote in this,
You make a
motion.
motion, I'll make a second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
Well, my concern here is, one is the 72 hours. I don't disagree with the ability for the council members to bring stuff to put on the agenda. However, it's the timing that concerns me, because if something's brought forth, I would much rather figure out a way that we could bring it up at a 1 month prior to the meeting you want to have it on, so it gives not only the mayor, but the city attorney and others time to vet it and make sure, because the last thing we want to do is get something rushed onto the agenda that has got legal issues, and that we get ourselves into a problem. So I understand what you're saying, don't disagree, but I think we need to give appropriate time for it to be reviewed.
Roy?
I agree with that. I think this would
What I want to
be-
give an example of is I've requested mine 2 consecutive months in a row at 2 different council meetings, and it's still not allowed to be discussed. It's still not on our agenda. I even brought a sample idea of thoughts that we could work off of and presented that, and yet we still don't have anything for us to discuss. So this is absolutely going against even what you're talking about, is 2 consecutive months in a row I've been asking, just to have a conversation.
Understood.
So,
And I feel like if we need to, we can change the time, if that makes it, because I know what you've brought things 2 months, and neither time, so yes, I agree that, yeah.
And we could play with the exact timing on this.
Look,
too.
it's a fine line here. It's a fine line of making sure our agenda is efficient and that we're bringing relevant, not frivolous things to the agenda. Also, on the contrary to that, is making sure that it is not so strictly controlled that we're not having valid conversations over issues. So there is, but both sides, I understand, have validity. I think we just need to figure out what makes the most sense. Because just like the last time, I mean, we don't need to be in here for 5 hours
Right.
chasing down frivolous agenda topics. So I just don't want us to get to that standpoint. I want our time spent, dedicated to research and discussing meaningful topics.
Absolutely. This just ensures separation of powers between the bicameral form of government we have in Lowell.
as the way I see it, it's hard to legislate and give direction if we're given a narrative of how, what we can and can't talk about.
That's true.
I disagree.
Mr. Mayor, we have a motion and a second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none? Are you reading this, please?
I'm ready.
Roll call?
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
No.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Lisa DeGifford,
Yes.
Roy Brunson,
No.
Dr. Brian Mooney,
Yes.
and Bryant Sands.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 to, let's say we're passed. Is that correct?
No, I think so.
Okay. So we have 5 yeses. 1, 2, 3, 4 noes.
No,
It
we
fails.
5 to 3. We only have 8 council members.
It still fails. The motion has failed.
That was to be able
No, I
to,
know. What was the vote count again?
5
5 to 3.
to 3.
Which, no, 5 noes?
No, 5
There were
yeses,
5
3
yeses.
noes.
3 noes.
Okay, so it didn't fail.
It fails.
it
Okay.
failed.
We didn't get the numbers. Got it.
That's the point, is you have to have,
Yep, I got it.
This one's a resolution to appropriate and authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with FCS. This is on the old business.
I can't hear.
Sorry, I'm sorry. FCS, a Bowman company for the police and fire impact fee study for the city of Lowell. So, receive a motion.
Second.
Chief, I just want to thank you for reaching out to all of the council members to have a discussion with us.
You're very welcome.
We're all on the same page.
You're welcome.
Here's one. Can you hear me?
I feel like they're all really low.
Hey, Cody.
They are, we had a mixer go out in this whole process, so we are doing our.
We are.
audio,
Thank you,
trying to
Chief.
You're welcome. Hey, Cody, will you turn this mic down, please?
Good idea.
You can start to hear it.
We're working on it, and we got it installed late Monday night. You're gonna get feedback. There you go. So, any questions for Chief on this? Oh, entertain a motion on this, I'm sorry.
I believe we
I
already.
think we're done.
Lisa made the motion.
Lisa, you have-
Rose made the
So,
second.
Tom asked.
Tom.
So, discussion.
That's okay.
Chief, I'd just like to thank you for ensuring we have no blank pages.
Gotcha.
Seeing no discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call.
Lisa DeGifford,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Bryant Sands.
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Roy Brunson.
Yes.
Motion to approve, the resolution is approved, and the resolution is signed 26-33.
Third time's a charm.
Thank you for
Thank you,
real,
Chief.
for
Yeah.
taking time to do it. That
Thank
made
y'all.
that so much easier.
Next on the agenda, Mayor, is a resolution committing a local match fund in support of Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission's application for federal transit Administration Transit-Oriented Development Planning Funds for the Highway 71B Corridor Project, the City of Lowell, Arkansas, appropriating funds for same. Did you receive a motion?
So, second.
Okay.
Discussion?
How far out are we predicting to actually see this be a thing? And there was a date on here, I think I saw 2050, and that was a while back, right, 2014 or something.
Can staff come up and answer on that, please?
I think like one of the early ideations of questions that, like, super early on, it was like, who's gonna pay and how much of what? And I think it's that, like, I know that we're paying for part of us to do all the planning and all that stuff, but what other information we have outside of what was provided that you can think of?
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer that. This is actually coming from Regional Planning Commission, and they are requesting all cities along the 71B corridor pitch in to this funding source. They're applying for a grant for a regional study, and it's for bus rapid transit. And what this ties into is the 2050 plan. And it's not saying that this is coming at 2050. It's saying 1 million people will be here by 2050. If we keep growing at the rate we're growing, that's going to meet its prediction. And so regional planning, their duty for the region is to plan out our transportation before that gets here. And so to be on board with the rest of Northwest Arkansas and be a part of this study, and being a part of the study allows us to have bus stops here in Lowell. It's just part of what they're asking us to do.
Are we all paying the same amount, do you know, for the study, like each of the
They are,
cities? Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
From what I understand, yes.
Ms. Karen, is this going to be tied into Ozark Regional Transit in any way?
Not at this time. This is more of a mass rapid transit going between Fayetteville and Bentonville. So there are 2 phases right now to that plan, and Lowell is right in the center.
We had an agreement with them before you were here, and that went sideways because we just asked for some simple information from them, and they refused to give us information. So I really have a bad taste in my mouth with Ozark Regional Transit due to that. And you know, it wasn't that we didn't want to participate with them and didn't want to continue to work with them, but when they refused to even give us ridership for the city of Lowell so that we knew where our tax dollars were going. So I'd just love to keep abreast of this to know if at any point the board start looking at dumping money into that entity.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Once they start the study, I'll make sure to update you guys on where they're at with it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Is the grant they're applying for, is that for the study or is that?
it's for the study.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to see what the needs are for the rapid transit and to find the locations. And that's for the bus stops.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any further discussion or questions for staff? Seeing none, roll call.
Lisa DeGifford,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Brian Sands,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Roy Brinson.
Yes.
Motion to approve, the resolution is approved. Resolution is assigned number 26-34.
Very next item is a resolution to appropriate funds for work order number 10 with McCullough Consulting Engineers Incorporated for Phase 1 of the Highway 264, that's Monroe Avenue and Mount Green Hebron Road intersection improvement project in the city of Lowell, Arkansas. You receive a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would make that motion with the correction to the first whereas. It's referencing August 19, 2026, should be 2025.
We have a motion with a correction to
Second.
Steve, motion and corrections. Steve made the motion and Ron made the second. Discussion?
Did you open for discussion?
Yes, sir, I did.
I'm sorry. Jay, is this an additional money or is this a correction? Do you
Okay,
know?
can you come up to the table if you're gonna answer?
Karen?
Isn't this what you're deciding the GL code to?
Oh, the GL code is fine. He wants to know if this is in addition, or have we done,
Oh, there's no corrections or changes to it. It just needed the GL.
yeah. It just needed a number.
Last year, we approved the.
Because sometimes in the past, things have been passed with dollars, but there's been no GL code associated with it, and I can't spend the money unless you guys have said what fund to take it out of, or what account to take it out of.
Thank you. That
Okay.
makes sense.
So this isn't spending any new money?
No, sir, it's an assignment of a general ledger code.
Okay.
I have a question regarding that. Is that something that we need to relook at, as far as streamlining it? Because if we did that last year, and then it has to come back to us again, why wouldn't we just assign it at the time?
It should be, but and most of these are I wasn't here kind of situations.
Okay, so going forward,
Yes.
we're gonna.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Ward Brunson,
Yes.
Emily Reach. Lisa DeGifford.
Yes.
Bryant Sims.
Yes.
Steve Whitehead.
Yes.
Brian Mooney.
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Maybe next item is,
Wait. Motion to approve is approved. It is assigned number 26-35. Thank you.
next is a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the low bids submitted by Ground Zero Construction Incorporated for the North Concord Street Improvements Project in the city of Lowell, Arkansas. Need to receive a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I just want to clarify with Mr. Kickback if I need to abstain from this.
Yes.
Okay,
No?
I just,
Okay.
well, because,
It's the north end.
I mean, it's the north end, but it's still technically,
Oh, improving the road, I'll let you live.
mhm.
Oh, you're okay to vote if you want. It's good for the whole city.
Okay.
It's not just benefiting you, but if you don't want to, you don't have to.
No, I just wanted clarification.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any discussion for staff or questions for staff?
Yeah, I have one question. So we're including a contingency fund, but is this just like any other contract where we would withhold the last 10%?
Yes,
until the
and
project's completed?
do you want to speak to that, or would you like me to? Usually we bid a line item contingency. That's how we've done it in the past couple of contracts we bid. contractors have a tendency to think they're obligated to that, and they'll look to find ways. They can still look at these meeting minutes and see that they have a 10% contingency. They're less likely to feel like they're obligated to it if we do it this way, and that's why we're doing it this way.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Roy Brunson,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Lisa DeKifford,
Abstain.
and Bryant Sands,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Motion to approve this resolution is approved, and it will be assigned 26-36.
Mayor, next item is a resolution appropriating funds and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Dixon Engineering Incorporated for the inspection and structural assessment of the elevated water storage tank along East Monroe in the city of Lowell, Arkansas. You'd receive a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
So this will look for lead in the soil, or just lead on the tower, or everything?
This is an extension of the previous contract with McClellan. It went from McClellan to the actual contractor that is actually going to do the work. It's not going to be a pass-through. The question on the actual parameters of the contract, it's structural
Okay.
in nature.
Do we have any idea, has anyone looked at the lead issue?
They will, when they do the inspection.
Okay, so this also includes that? Okay. Perfect. And that'll include the soil as well, or just the tower itself?
It's just the tower itself.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't own the soil. We have an easement, but we won't own the land. We will have just own the actual structure itself.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Lisa DeKifford,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
Yes.
Bryant Sands,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Roy Brunson.
Yes.
Motion to approve this resolution is approved. Resolution is assigned number 26-37.
Mayor, next item is a resolution approving the commencement of eminent domain proceedings in Tract 10 of Benton County Parcel 12-0107600 for the Honeysuckle Sidewalk Project in the city of Lowell, Arkansas. You receive a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So what's the background on this?
Talked to Cassie today.
Cassie, there's Mark. We have someone from staff that can actually answer questions on that. Do you have a question?
And I talked to Cassie today as well.
Okay, so, and Tom has information on it as well.
Mark Malloy, McClellan Consulting Engineers. How can I advise?
Well, could you just give us the background on how things went, what the individual said, what we said?
So I can give you information second, third hand, because I did not do this myself. We have a company that we partner with to do the real estate negotiations through Visionary Milestones, and she reached out to each of the residents on this street for this project. And she said in each interaction she's had, to contact or attempt to contact the residents here, she has once received response of, no, I don't want a sidewalk here, I don't want this trail, I'm not cooperating, no, I don't want this. Paraphrasing, again, second, third hand, I couldn't tell you precisely, but that's the gist of it. And otherwise has been non-responsive to like the mailing letters and notices provided of the assessment of the property and the issued valuation and fair market value offered to acquire the right-of-way and easement.
Okay. So just didn't want to sell?
Nope, wanted nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I talked to that agent today, our agent, to make sure I could answer any questions you might have, and pretty much like that. Said, you know, when they spoke, it was a polite exchange. He just said, my answer is going to be no. There's no amount of money. There's nothing. I just don't want anything here. And so my answer is no. She said, you know, I asked her about compensation. She said, really all along this project, we've offered more than fair compensation. It's been taken by every other every other owner along this sidewalk has agreed.
17 out of 19.
Well, one of them's held up only because there's some title work going on with the owner, and as soon as it's been accepted, the offer's been accepted, but they can't take the money yet because they have to get ownership straightened out. Once they do get that settled, then this will be the only one that isn't selling land.
Tom, do you have that price per square foot, what we're offering?
I don't, I just know that it's 6,006 is the last offer. I might be able to back it into that with, looks like, I understood there'd be no math, of course.
But the offer was roughly 6,000, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do we not already have a right-of-way on that side?
We do, and so it's not like full width of a sidewalk or trail, it's only partial. It's actually not very much property at all. And I would like to, is there a way to do quick arithmetic and figure out what that square footage is?
The right-of-way, if I'm not mistaken, having looked at the spreadsheet recently, I don't have that precise number printed in front of me, but if I'm not mistaken, based on the appraisals done for other properties within the project and in the area, I believe we assessed an average value of $5.34 per square foot for full price of right-of-way acquisition. And then obviously for the construction easement, it's a factor down from that.
So those are two separate figures.
Yeah, but do you know how much of that area that we're requisitioning now, how much of it is already currently right-of-way?
This is what we're asking.
What we are asking for is not currently right-of-way.
This is.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, yes. Okay, awesome, thank you.
And so in that exhibit, that has the survey figures of the corners and dimensions and how much is being asked spatially, if that helps.
Yeah, it shows 550 square feet, 0.013 of an acre.
That's the 550 is the temporary construction easement.
Permanent easement.
The permanent easement is the 308, I think.
Right-of-way, full right-of-way acquisition is 308 square feet.
Yeah.
The permanent construction easement is 550 square feet. Both permanent acquisitions, one being we own this space and the other being you own this space, but we would like to secure rights to be able to take care of things that will just reach out
Repair.
adjacent.
Yeah.
So by starting, if we pass this resolution and start this process, what exactly does it mean? Are we paying them, or taking it?
We do pay them. We pay them that amount, but we don't pay it to them directly. We put it in what's called the registry of the court. We have to go to a judge. We have to file a lawsuit, and we have to tell the judge, may we please have this property. We have deposited what we believe it's worth. And then the landowner has a right to a jury trial, to have a jury determine what the value is. And that process can take a long time, right? Especially now with all the judges changing. But when we file, the judge typically gives us an order to go ahead and possess the property at that point, so the project can go. And I'm not sure when construction starts, but usually it's yesterday. And there's like a bulldozer waiting on the property. So they want us to hurry up and get possession.
additional? Any further discussion? Mark, you want to go into if we don't acquire this property, what happens?
Certainly. Okay, what if? If we say, no, we will not pursue eminent domain and we will not acquire the right-of-way needed in this space, one of two things could happen. One, we look at having to redesign the project. That could involve locally adding considerable expense to stay within the right-of-way, which is already tight as is. It's going to require more engineering effort than arguably really is needed. More than $6,000, I assure you. Or if we are not looking to redesign or adjust the project design at all, then if we do not have the right-of-way acquired, then that forces the hand of either it needs to be fully redesigned to go around this property, which means starting over for all intents and purposes, and otherwise the project could not be completed. If the project is not completed, or if we're not able to execute the project because all the right-of-way is not acquired, utilities are not fully cleared because we wouldn't be in that space, well, I mean, that if, for all intents and purposes, that could kill the project. There might be some mitigating ways to work with it if there are conversations held with RDOT, but it's troublesome, to say the least, for $6,000.
Could it be done where the rest of it's built, we don't do that section, at some point down the road, property changes hands, we go make that request, they say yes, that section is built?
No.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The answer is no to that because there's federal money in the project. In order to satisfy the scope of the project that the federal money was applied for, it needs to be complete from beginning to end. So if the project doesn't happen, we lose that grant money, which is several $100,000, right?
Yes. We have the $500,000 that has been allotted to construction costs specifically, and then there's another, I want to say $400,000, if I'm not mistaken, allotted to right-of-way utilities and construction costs.
We could request that that money be reappropriated to another project, but there's no guarantees.
Quick question, what, if you just don't have to go into the detail, but why did we choose the east side of the street versus the west, knowing that down at Mayflower, there is a sidewalk that comes around and points north? And up at Nelda, there's another sidewalk, both on the west side of the street, yet the project's on the east side of the street. So, I mean, obviously, you don't know why, I'm just kind of curious of why that is.
The project crosses over from the west side to the east side.
I get that, but I'm just trying to say.
On the east side, it's all in the existing right-of-way and easement. There's a very large easement there for utilities.
So, or larger right-of-way already exists.
Much larger, and there's no acquisition cost attached with that at all.
Gotcha.
You're
Understood.
going to have connecting sidewalks north of that and where it is.
That's correct.
Yeah, I was just looking at what existed today, and was just curious what went into the decision to go east versus west, and tying in with what's there.
And we just wanted to have connectivity from one end to the other, whether it's on one side or the other. We weren't going to do both sides.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
In your professional opinion, is there an alt to not move forward with eminent domain?
Could you repeat the question a little bit?
In your professional opinion, do you think there's an alt solution to not have to do eminent domain, or do you think that if we go back to the replanning of this, that there's no way it still comes to fruition?
Well, I think Mark basically addressed that question a few minutes ago in saying that
It can be redesigned, but it's going to cost a lot more than $6,000. And without looking in detail, I don't know what that will take.
I know we've spent
And it's-
quite a bit over the years designing this. I would hate to see losing that money. I know how you feel, Adrian, about eminent domain, but, you know, for 7.5 years on this council, and every time I went out knocking on doors and talking to people, all I hear about is sidewalks on Honeysuckle. And that was such a big thing. And I understand, you know, I hate to take somebody's land, but sometimes we have to do what's in the best interest of the city and the other citizens. And I totally get it. I know how you feel about it. But, you know, one person over hundreds of people that are asking for this.
Something else to consider from the staff side of it also, I mean, obviously taking land is a very serious thing, so it's not something we take lightly. And this isn't something that the city staff were pushing. This came from the residents. This has been something, as long as I've been here, this has been discussion. So to me, the only thing that could be possibly relevant to make us even look at taking somebody's land would be a life safety, public safety issue. We get to work at 6 o'clock every morning. As we're heading out, whatever we're doing for the day, if you've driven to Honeysuckle in the morning and you see the school bus route and all the stops along Honeysuckle, it's kids diving for ditches because all they have to do is walk in the road right now. There's no way for them to get to their bus stop. One of them's at Bluebonnet and Honeysuckle. They have to walk all the way down from Evergreen Circle, Dell Circle to get to that one. And even if we didn't build this portion out, they're getting into the roadway to get back to the sidewalk. So that's, I mean, one thing to consider going into this. Like, life safety is the 100% factor behind this, and this wasn't something the staff brought to the table. This was, the residents have asked for years and years and years. So even if we did go back to the drawing board, we're now delaying that life safety however much longer it takes to try to figure this out. So just consider that when y'all are making your decision, please.
I definitely agree. A sidewalk has been needed for a long time. And I'm not against it, as some have said. However, this being a property rights issue, I don't think I can bring myself to vote for seizing, government going in and seizing someone's land against their will. That's not how the United States ideally works on paper. It doesn't always in practice, but it should.
And I get that, and I understand that, but the need of one over the need of hundreds, you know, at some point, I'm gonna be the one that's giving up half of my front yard for the same thing. And I feel like everybody has been asking for sidewalks for so long. We've spent so much money on this design. I mean, we've been talking about this for 7.5 years. I would hate to see us have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars more to redesign it because one person is holding out. Do I like taking someone's land? Absolutely not. But as Aaron mentioned, you know, in a very short time, your daughter's gonna be old enough to walk to school, and she's gonna have to walk that path. And we want the safety of the kids, as well as all the other residents. So, I understand, Adrian, I get it.
My 2 cents is pretty simple. When we built our house, we had to put in sidewalks. That was what was required time. So not only did we have to put the sidewalk in the front, but I also have a side yard as well that is adjacent. So we had a sidewalk going down the side. And, you know, the price of concrete at the time in that relative time frame was a pretty decent thorn. I definitely didn't like paying that extra concrete bill. But I will tell you that the beautiful thing that I have is I have a great asset in my yard. I have a sidewalk that makes it easy ground, especially with my ankle. With my ability to walk on a solid surface has been an increase in my belief of my yard. And I agree with you, when we're talking about somebody's land. But if you also go back to the fact that the only thing we're doing, we're not really taking it away from them and telling them they can't use it. The only thing we're telling them is there's gonna be a piece of concrete there that they're not having to pay for it. There's gonna be an asset to their property. It will actually increase property values from many people's point of view. My wife would really love to be on the trails and to be able to jump straight on from our house. I see it both ways. I totally agree with you. Being a uber conservative libertarian myself, my answer is I definitely don't want to take anything from anybody. The fact that we're just doing a narrow strip, this is palatable for me because we're not taking it indefinitely. We're just doing some alterations to it. And I totally get you. And so I commend you for your stance. But I do see the positive side of it enough that I will bend a bit in my stance.
Yeah, I concur with everyone else. Look, this should never be taken lightly, and I don't think it has been. I mean, I'll applaud everybody that's been involved. It's taken a very long time here. And at the end of the day, we have done everything in our power, as everybody involved, to make this work. And so if I look at this, and I understand the aggravation of a landowner saying I don't want it taken, but if I also look at the usability of that piece of property, that's an area they're not doing anything in anyway. And this is not impeding in any manner in their property. And so for the good of the community, for the safety of the kids, I mean, this makes all the sense in the world.
I'm stuck in the same boat. I'm 100% think we need the sidewalks.
The beautiful thing is we don't have to agree.
Can I also add a comment that in what you're doing here kind of sets precedent for other projects going forward from a safety perspective, and many of the projects that are currently under consideration, all the ones that we're involved in, are completely for public safety. And when these projects are presented to council and you approve them, are you not approving them on the basis that you want them constructed and you're trusting judgment to be made by the mayor and partners by way of consultants and other professional staff to do what is in the best interests to see those projects through? You don't have to get involved in the eminent domain at a personal level. You can, if you want the project and you entrust that, it can be removed, and but you can get as involved in as much as you want to, and you're perfectly at liberty to. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing today. I'm just saying it makes it more difficult because there are going to be projects going forward that are going to require more eminent domain in all likelihood.
So you're just saying outsource the dirty work to someone else?
If you want to put it like that.
Let's, hey, you
so
guys.
I can have a clear conscience.
You can be as involved in it as much as you want to be or not, and different city councils make different decisions. And I will just say that, not that you have to follow suit to what other cities in Northwest Arkansas are doing, but there have been important projects held up, and some city councils have made decisions that they're not going to hold up public safety because of one individual. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't like land grabs at all.
There is a reason why the United States is a republic, not a straight democracy.
Let's go to school for a second, everybody.
Oh,
Speaking of the United States.
Excuse me, Tom, I was speaking. There's a reason why the United States is a republic and not a straight democracy. We're not ruled by a 51% majority on any decision. You know, in the republic, individuals' rights, their personal rights and property rights are protected.
Does this need a unanimous decision?
And just, Jeff, you're speaking of the law of the republic for a second. There's nothing more American than eminent domain, literally. I'm not saying it's the most American thing, but there's nothing more American, and here's why. The Fifth Amendment reads, this is to the United States Constitution, the founding document of the republic of which you speak. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on the presentment of an indictment of a grand jury. We all like that, yes? That's okay, we're okay with that one? Except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service of time of war or public danger. So there's an exception. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense twice. Double jeopardy, right? Put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall he be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Fifth Amendment, right? You plead the Fifth, you don't have to testify against yourself. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. In other words, the assumption is that the government will have to take private property for public use. You have to assume that because as soon as someone owns property and the government needs property, they're not going to always say yes, right? So that power is preserved in the United States Constitution. It's very American. The difference, and not to pick on you based on, your country of origin or anything, but the difference was when we founded the country and wrote this Constitution and passed it, we were coming from a place where the king was the land was the king. If the king needed it, wanted to hunt deer in your front yard, the king would simply take the front yard. You would not be compensated. There was no process. You simply was taken away. And in America, we decided we don't want to do it that way. If we have to take property, we have to pay for it. And the way the law is developed is, the best way we can think of is allow a jury of landowners' peers to determine what's it worth. We thought that's the fairest way. And so that's the process that we use. It's a very, very clunky process. It takes a long time. We don't know what's going to happen at the end, but that's the process that we use because of the Constitution. So I would argue that it is very, very American. Again, there's nothing more American than this process, and it's because we protect the rights of people by making sure they get just compensation for any property that the government has to have.
Well, I would also say, what were they talking about when they wrote that? Quartering troops in people's houses, and
No.
also...
It simply says, nor shall private property be taken for public use.
Yes, of course. What were they talking about?
Private property being taken for public use.
The context was quartering troops in people's houses, they were talking about requisitioning ships.
No. That's a whole separate part of the Constitution about quartering troops.
Yes, I realize that.
Yeah, this is simply taking property for sidewalks or buildings or, roads, needed roads for sure. That's what that is. And so sorry for the civics lesson, but I thought it was important to know why we do this and how we do it.
I'd like to point out maybe two things. First, we don't have to vote unanimously.
Right.
Second, something else was enshrined in the original Constitution called slavery. It had to be later corrected. Just because it was in the original Constitution doesn't necessarily mean it was morally correct. So I'm pretty much on the same page as you, Adrian.
Well, and that's a frustrating thing. It's going to be painted as you don't care about public safety. And I believe everybody on here cares about public safety, 100%.
Yes. It could be painted that the property owner doesn't care.
Any further discussion?
The only thing I would like to add is simply that this is kind of like a will. It promotes the fact that it has to go to a magistrate, it has to go to a judge, as to where going back and forth with somebody that doesn't want to talk, it falls on the judge at this point if we do this. So if the judge does not deem this to be so, then it's not so.
Our vote is simply indicating we need this piece of property to finish this project.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Lisa D. Gifford,
Yes.
Emily Reach,
Abstain.
Adrian Flores,
No.
Bryant Sands,
Yes.
Brian Mooney,
No.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Roy Brunson.
Yes.
All right, what do we got? We got 5 yeses. And we've got 2 noes and 1 abstain. What we caught the abstainers? No, yes. 73. We needed 6.
No, you need 5.
Oh, is it?
No, you need, yeah, you need 5.
On this one? Okey dokey. Motion to approve this resolution is approved. Resolution is assigned number 26-38. Six over here.
Announcements and discussion.
It's, no, we have this one that Karen had given us.
Oh, that's,
I can't do anything with that, that's you. I can't do anything.
you need to vote for that on
So
the
I'd like to
agenda.
make a motion that we add this resolution to approve a request by the Ozark Adventure Park Development at 802 Goat Springs Road in Lowell to pay development fees in lieu of road improvements over time.
You need to amend the agenda.
Can I amend the agenda to include the resolution that I just read? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to add the resolution in question.
Just one point of information. If 3 people say no, it won't get added.
That is correct. So there's a motion and a second.
Who made the
Discussion.
motion?
Who made your motions? Who made the motion? Steve?
I made the motion.
Yeah.
Steve.
Brian said I
Oh,
seconded.
Brian.
Okay, so
Brian.
Steve,
No,
And-
Brian.
Brian.
Brian, you made the original? Is he made the second?
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brian made the
Dr. Brian
second.
made the second.
There you go.
Okay. So discussion
I said huzzah.
on the motion to amend the agenda to add the resolution.
Shannon, you want to come on up and,
This is just
This is just the motion.
oh,
this is
No.
to add it.
Yes.
Then we'll have to.
Roll call.
Any discussion, or we want to go to roll call? Okay, we'll go to roll call.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Roy Brunson.
Yes.
Emily Reach.
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
Yes.
Lisa D. Gifford,
yes.
Bryant Sands,
Yes.
and Dr. Mooney.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so now we have that item added.
Karen, you want to explain?
No, now we gotta
Make a motion.
now we have to read the item.
Right, it's a resolution to approve a request by Ozark Adventure Park Development 802 Goat Springs Road, Norton Lowell, to pay development fee in lieu of road improvement over time. And you'd receive a motion, Mayor.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Lisa and a second by
Bryant.
Brian with a T.
Ricky.
It's Ricky.
Bryant.
Okay,
I would say Dr. Bryant, because I'm not a doctor.
okay. Discussion on
Clarity.
Okay.
the resolution.
One point of clarity here, just to make sure the resolution number is 2025, is that correct, or do we need
That's not-
2026?
There is not a, it's gonna be 2026.
There you go.
Thank you.
A question for staff.
You want to kind of, in short terms, because it's really hot in here, explain?
I know, I think the air actually went out. I tried to turn it down. It says it's 77
Karen,
and it's set.
Just to let you know, I just went out, both units are completely dead.
Yeah, so there you go. That's
Too
fine.
bad we don't know.
I tried to help you, but
I'm like, oh my God.
It was that way in planning commission. So this project, it's Ozark Adventure Park. For anybody that's not familiar with it, it's located on South Goat Springs Road. And they have constructed, they're nearing the finish line, almost complete. They have a few items left on the punch list. And one of those items is they still have a fee in lieu due for the road. Now, what this is, usually we collect these fees at grading. And they did pay their park fee that was due and the sewer fee that was due at that time. But they had decided with our Public Works Department at the time that they were going to build out the road to Burrell, and we were going to partner with them as the city to get that done. Well, come to find out, the road from Burrell south, maybe just a little north of Burrell, is RDOT, and it belongs to RDOT because of the 612 bypass. And RDOT let us know that we are not widening their portion of the road at this time. So we will have to work with RDOT in the future through their planning process to get this done if and when we do widen this portion of the road. So that brings us back to, instead of them constructing their portion of the road, they're just now paying the fee in lieu. And he's asking, because he is at the finish line and he had planned to build it out with his construction, he's asking to extend that. Because before we issue a C of O, which is a finalization of a project, once you issue a C of O, it's very hard to make a large scale come back and complete anything on the project. And we do have that in the past where some of the large scales don't even have sidewalks because they were issued C of Os prior. So we pretty much hold them to the fire. You know, everything has to be complete at C of O. So that's where he's at. He's asking for an extension for up to 24 months to give him time to come up with these funds to pay the city back.
So, Ms. Karen, have we experienced anything similar to this in the past, and how we handled it? So,
Not an extension of 24 months, no. You have had projects ask for waivers from the fee, and you have waived those fees for some projects, not all. Pretty much it was just the high impact ones. I know Harps was one that there's just a few of you on the council now who was here when Harps came in, but Harps was one of them that they did waive the fee for. And more recently, Dick's House of Sports, but it was for the commercial complex, and it was because of the return on investment that they presented to you guys.
Ms. Karen, I'm sorry, Des. This is on the Burrell Place side that we're talking about, correct?
This is north of Burrell Place. It's on South Goat Springs Road.
Right, I know, but the
RDOT.
Goat Springs Road is what they did actually do improvement on, correct? There. Are we collecting fees for the Goat Springs roadside?
Goat Springs Road.
Okay.
Yeah, and they haven't done the road improvement there yet.
Okay.
Only because they had planned to with the construction of the project, and we asked them to wait on that. After discussing with their engineer, that was probably better to wait until we can align the road fully south. And that's what's kind of brought us to this point.
So was there some kind of confusion as we were going through this?
There's no confusion. There's pretty clear communication on both sides of what and when is due. And I have documentation if you guys need to see that, and I'll be happy to send it to you. But it's just one of those things. Projects, when they come through, they're responsible for different improvement fees, and one of them happens to be the road improvement. And so they're responsible for any road frontage that they have from property line to center line. And that's estimated, calculated by their engineer. They send an estimate to us per our road fee chart. And then our engineer will review that fee estimate and either recommend changes or approve what they've proposed. And then we are presented.
But they were told to hold off, correct?
No, not by us. They're not for the fee itself. They were told to hold off on the construction. So then the communication with their engineer became there would be a fee due. And so them and the contractor worked between the two of them They just knew that the fee would be due that they had originally presented, which would be $158,000.
I have a question for the property owner, if you wouldn't mind. Is this your ideal outcome?
The ideal outcome as far as paying the fees?
Yes, spreading it out over the time.
Well, ideally for us, we want to honor what the city's asking and request of us. We're not looking for any special privileges. I think it's a timing. And then with the RDOT, when they got involved, I'll speak for myself. I was under the impression that when it was put on pause, that meant there would be a later day and time that we would pay the fees. And I probably could have made a phone call, could have spoken directly to Ms. Karen, but at the same time, we had a contractor and engineers involved. And when we didn't have that communication, we interpreted the email as the project was on pause. So respectfully, we've invested a lot of money on interest payments and other parts of this project that were not laid out to us, but we're all grown. Things happen. So in general, I think it's a timing thing for us. There's no thing, it's definitely a timing matter. We are about 4 to 5 months past what we thought this project would be. But again, that happens, so.
And if for some reason there is no solution found here, the interest payments catch up, don't they?
I could give you a rough, it's been a challenge, I'll say that. But, we've done what we've had to do to still be in the game. So, we'll do it again if we have to. But our goal would be to pay these fees back as soon as possible. We didn't know anything about a waiver or the possibility of that, and we wouldn't ask for that in the first place. So back to your question, ideally for us at this moment would be somewhat of a reprieve to where we could get open. And we've lost money because we had over 180 kids that were to come in from the Fayetteville Athletic Club. We could have used that as a soft opening. We've had Springdale School District want to come to us. We have an opportunity with Rogers School District, and we can't book a party right now. It's not the council's fault, it's the city of Lowell. But in general, it's been a challenge to find an opening date to even project. We've had several people stop in the last 2 weeks and say, when are you going to open? And we can't give a date because we don't want to disappoint anyone or collect money from people. If we had done what we were going to do 3 months ago, we would be giving money back. And you can't take people's money and spend it and then try to give it back. That would have been a major misstep on our part, and we're just not going to do that. So we're paying the price, and that's not your responsibility. That's where we are.
Question, is this your first business in Lowell?
It's the first in Lowell, yes. I run a behavioral health company right now for my sister over in the northeast side of the state, and I'm a former teacher and coach. But we wanted to be in Lowell originally on Hospitality Lane. That didn't work out. We found a piece of property in Rogers. We found some hurdles there, and so we came back to Lowell. And this is where we want to be. We want to be in the hub, but in general, I like Lowell. It reminds me of my hometown, so we feel comfortable here.
Is 24 months attainable?
I'm sorry?
24 months? Is that is that feasible for you?
I would say yes. I mean, we're looking at projected revenue based on, we have to do a good job. When the doors do come open, it's back on us now. There's no critical assets to bring in on a contractor or to complain about the city. It's time for us to show. So hopefully, if we do a good job, we do plan and organize where we have been, we could turn that revenue around and give that money back to the city, not just as sales tax, but for those fees. But it's going to take some work. And we have a lot of bills in front of us, a lot, but that's normal, right?
The last thing I want to do is like close shop to a small business that's trying to start in Lowell.
Yes, sir.
Right? We obviously want you to grow and flourish,
Yes, sir.
especially with like the surrounding areas. I think what you're doing is great for the community and for kids, and I think that's amazing.
Yes,
My personal POV would be in the 24 months, like just before, is assessing where y'all are at.
Yes.
That would be my thoughts. Be like, hey, you need 6 more months. POV of one. Again.
Well, the good thing, we're talking about a resolution, so
Yeah.
that if we get to that point and both sides agree that there's a little more time that needs to go, then we do another resolution.
I'm commend you for the open communication. I think it's great. Tom said there was a lot of open communication, so I commend you, thank you for that and coming to us.
I'd like to throw something out there to the council. I'd like to amend this to waive the fees for the street.
That was my next thought, but I didn't know if we could do it. Is that a thing?
He's paid his sewer fees, he's paid his park fees.
Not being requested.
If we could amend this to waive that street fee.
I would like to hear what Tom's opinion, because we said he conferred
what-
with Brian, but I'd rather hear your opinion for the whole council
You,
to that request.
I heard half of what you said.
right, no, I've just, fee waiver is we've been very careful about it. It's rarely done, and it's done usually in a sort of overwhelming situation as far as the numbers, for tax base. And then we've been, typically when a city does that, they use a series of a matrix basically that they have with all the reasons, all the things that you want to hit in order to make that decision, so that y'all aren't just sort of on the fly doing something like that. That's all. It is something to be taken real seriously.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there's three things here. Number one is, look, I want to be very supportive of small businesses, because I want to see more small businesses come to Lowell. That's number one. I want to be supportive. Number two, I do find it frustrating that if I'm putting myself in your shoes and I want to open a business, that knowing that a national corporation in Dick's Sporting Goods, regional in Harps, that we waive fees, completely understand that the revenue base that we're waiving those for, that it's going to generate in taxes, is considerably higher than probably what you're going to be bringing in a year. I understand that fully. But I do think it's frustrating. That comparison is frustrating for me. The third being, just again, this is a dangerous precedent for us as a council to set, because once we agree, now we've opened Pandora's box for any and everyone. So trying to weigh all of those, at least I don't disagree with partially what your mindset is, but again, that's probably an even more dangerous.
But haven't we already
Pandora's
kind
box.
of set the precedents by waiving fees for people who can't afford to pay those fees, major corporations, private schools? We've waived those fees. And there was no pushback on that. I mean, I would rather support a small business in waiving a fee than do that.
I don't disagree 100%. It's the precedent we're setting and the damage it could be due to the financial wherewithal of the city of now getting into this discussion every single time that this comes
But we've
up.
already said that.
And I understand what you're saying, Roy, but in the case of Harps and Dick's and even Providence Academy, didn't we waive the sewer in the parks as well as the street fees?
They've waived everything.
So
Yeah.
he's already paid the sewer in the parks. I'm just asking for the street. So I understand what you're saying, Roy.
I mean, I'm fully supportive here, in either scenario here. It's just, I just want us to be cognizant of the precedents we're setting.
Yeah.
And the door we're opening for additional, I mean, now if I'm looking to bring something to Lowell, I'm like, hey, there's precedent set, and now we're gonna see this on an ongoing basis. But I am fully supportive. I wanna see your doors open. I wanna see you guys thrive. I applaud. I know, I saw you, I walked by your, early on, your facility when you guys were building it, and the undertaking, the massive undertaking that you have gone after here is impressive. I can only imagine the expense that you've encountered trying to get that up and open.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate your input and your position.
There is a way that we can maintain consistency and allow the mom and pop shops and the smaller businesses to flourish without these burdensome taxes or fees. They write a letter asking us to waive them, we waive them. we've already opened the box. We've granted some requests, several. Why not just go full board and say, you write a letter, we'll say yes.
Is that you like playing advocate, or is that, I missed the first half of what you said. I'm just trying to be super clear in what you're saying, that it's like a statement and not like an actual, this is what we should be doing.
No, it's just discussion.
Okay, sorry.
There's a way we can maintain consistency here in what we've already done previously.
I think we need
and being kind to the small business owner versus the giant chains that can afford it, that have had it waived, and not burdening the smaller businesses. They write a letter, we look favorably on it, and we say, yeah, we can waive that.
Why not doing it as a set of criteria?
Or we discuss it.
We discuss it, we don't grant it on.
Yes.
Because I agree with you, Lisa. Again, we've waived fees. I've not been in support of that for corporations that can afford to pay them. I think that's a bold move, but I'm not against that, because I would rather waive a fee for a small business than that. You've been doing the things, you've been turning in apparently lots of open communication. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I can say firsthand, working with Shannon, he has been great to work with through the whole process. I mean, everything that's asked of him, he made sure it's done.
Lisa, did you make a motion?
I made a motion to amend the resolution.
No, did you make a motion?
No, you make, well, we have a motion and we have a motion and a second on the resolution itself. We'd have
Can I make
to.
a motion?
We'd have to go back.
She wants to amend the resolution.
Amend the resolution.
Can I make a motion to amend the resolution? Motion to amend the resolution to waive the fees for the street in lieu of the payment plan, the 24-month payment plan. Did I get it all?
I think you convoluted it.
Could you go over it again?
You want to make a motion to waive the fees?
Make a motion to waive the fees
Okay, thank you.
for the street.
You just want to make a motion to waive the fees?
Make a motion to waive the fees.
Second. I have a motion and a second.
So are we gonna vote on first?
We're gonna make a motion, we're gonna
This
discuss
resolution?
the motion to waive the fees first.
Thank you for your patience, Shannon.
So, we're gonna just.
Is that still officially in the form of?
So it's a resolution.
Yeah. So the first, we're gonna discuss what we've been discussing.
That's right.
So any further discussion on the motion to amend her wanting to waive it?
I think we're a little premature on that motion, Lisa. I really think we need to have to continue a little bit. I understand it's hot, I understand the air conditioning's out. All to go, get it. But I think we're just a tad premature on that. I don't disagree with you, I just think we need to have a little more discussion here before we.
Well, I think this now opens up that discussion, because it's just a motion.
Yeah.
And a second.
What I could do, y'all, is bring your resolution next month to waive. And
I've got a question for both of you guys. If we didn't address this tonight, what would that do to your timeline?
He needs to see a vote.
Yeah, I mean, he can't open.
This is standing in the way.
Right, he
It's
cannot open and earn money until.
One of the items is standing in the way. He still has the punch list to complete, but once that's complete, yes, he could be issued a CBO.
And in the meantime, he's making
complete that
payments to
before we
bank.
can come back to this next.
Yes, he can.
What were you?
Well, I thought I was just getting clarity. Yeah, I mean, he cannot open and earn money. We're not gonna, would see a dollar back here, irregardless until you get the door open.
Correct.
So I just didn't want to wait. I don't want to keep him from opening another month. I just do not want to do that.
I just want to point out, we're doing something we don't normally do, is worrying about this on the tail end. We normally collect these fees on the front end, and this would have been something we have already would have done So at this point, I see the small business, I'd love to have them open and get going. And when we look at them like versus Harps, we don't tax food. We don't get a tax off comparatively. Where everything that he's going to do, all the concessions, all the user fees that he's going to have, every penny of that will be taxed. So this will be a tax revenue, unlike what we were looking at with Harps. If this was on the front end, I would have a little more heartburn to waive the fee, but at this point, I'm ready to get him open and would support waiving that fee.
So can I ask you just a brief overview of the services you're gonna offer there? And you don't have to go into detail, but then how you're gonna generate revenue, what your charges are and stuff like that. I think I may have a possible solution here. I just want to understand everything you're offering and kind of how you're charging.
Yes, sir. It would be obviously an FEC for family entertainment purposes, but we'll have opportunities for adults, kids alike. So it truly is a family structured plan. Our kitchen, it's a fully custom kitchen, and like a restaurant would have, maybe not as large as some, but as far as pricing goes, we'll have different tiers or structures. So you can come in and do the indoor ropes course, and then you can tailor that with climbing walls. There are other opportunities for adults. So it's right now we are about to push that out on our website, but we've held back because basically what we're discussing tonight, we're trying to make sure that once we put something out there that we can honor that and commit to it. So pricing wise, we've investigated, we've looked at almost every form of entertainment here and what people are charging. We're going to fall in that line. We're not going to try to get rich overnight at all, but we do have bills to pay, and they're coming every day. But in general, it should be a fair price. I could give you some examples if that's what you're asking. But there'll be things for, again, I was here probably a year ago, and we talked about a liquor permit, but that's going to be very minimized. Then you have to order food. You want to limit the number of drinks because, again, it's a family structure. So in general, there are simulators, golf simulators, which have over 50 games involved there. There are racing simulators. We're putting things up for kids right now on the lower level. We're actually installing some of that ourselves to try to reduce some of the costs. So I could be a little more specific, but I hope that gives you a good idea. But the food will be, we are working that diligently.
So where I'm going here is I'm trying to find a compromise, and that is, and I don't know the exact way to approach it, because I don't want to stunt your revenue stream by this. But I'm trying to say, how can we do a win-win here so that somehow a certain age of Lowell citizen's child, for a certain time frame, put in a certain time frame while this was supposed to be, if it's the first year, whatever, how do we have so that they can get some benefits? So what I'm trying to target is, if there's kids that would not possibly get the opportunity to attend this here in our community, is there a way to have this as an option? I don't know.
Like a Lowell fund of,
just for I'm just trying to look for a compromise here that, benefits.
Almost like a scholarship sort of thing.
Yeah, just that benefits. And I guess it may be too complicated to try to figure that out. I'm just trying to find a compromise. But if we did waive anything, is there something there that is, so kids in the community can have? Is it their first visit? Is it, I don't know.
Is that something? I don't think so. Right? Could it be the city telling the business what to charge for, or not charge?
And that's fine. I mean, if it's not an option, it's not an option. It's fine.
I've never done that.
That's fine. It may be too complicated.
Roy, we've done some things where, like, you locate something in a city, you'll say the city residents all the residents have a right to use that without a fee, and then you charge people an outside fee. So that's typically a park of some kind, like an improvement to a park that you need to pay for.
Yeah.
I've not done that with regard to something like this, but I'm happy to look into it, yeah.
Again, I think speed is the essence here of trying to get this resolved. Okay.
Something just to consider too from staff's perspective, just because it's our job to look out for the city as a whole. I mean, if you're worried about him getting open, you could pass it to where he has the 24-month extension, he can open, and then you come back to the table if he formally requests a waiver. All I'm saying is he has a business that we literally just opened across the street, a small business that had to pay these fees. So just consider that what y'all are doing here has, you know, we use these fees for a lot of different things. And due to the fact that, like I said, somebody literally just opened across the street and had to pay those. So I'd rather slow roll it, do it correctly. You know, like Tom said, we have a checklist that we go through to make sure we do this. So just from a staff perspective, since we are dealing with street and street fees, I wanted to put that out there.
Well, I will say Providence, for example, that was 300,000 plus or something that got waived. They are not generating revenue for us, and we opened that box and we said, yep, you don't have to do that. I think that was the park improvement fund, something like that, that we waived. Dick's more than capable of paying fees, but we wanted them, and I get that. That was our question then, how are we gonna pick and choose going forward? Because we did open the box for people that could afford those fees. And that was the big pushback then. What about the mom and pop shops? What about the small businesses who come in and they want, or they can't afford this, or they're whatever? We gave no accommodation to that at the time. And so now here we are, months later, where we're faced with, what do we do for small businesses? How do we pick and choose? And so I hear what you're saying, and that does suck for the person across the street, but this is why we said back then, why would we waive this? How are we gonna pick and choose? So I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
And 30% of the fee has already been paid.
Exactly.
I think at the time of the conversation, there was an enticement issue. Not saying that right now is not important, but I think in the context of that conversation.
Which one?
About Dick's and all the other ones, it was about enticing those larger companies to come here for revenue source, for people to want to move to Lowell in the area to keep that from going to neighboring cities, which would drive the entertainment away from the city, right? So I think that we're 2 steps behind, obviously, right? Because we can't go backwards, right? So I think just the context of that, I think, is super important, just to be clear.
I mean.
Not saying you're right, not saying it's right or wrong.
And the context is important, sure. But
not right
at
or
that
wrong,
point,
just
the way
saying.
I would look at it is, okay, we prioritize big businesses coming in because we want people to come here and we want people to spend money. Of course we do, absolutely. But again, he's paid, what'd you say,
30%.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's paid stuff. This isn't like, people will want to come and do this. I don't.
And to
We
give you
set the
good,
precedents a while ago, and now we are fixing those consequences.
to give a good comparison, the business that opened up across the street, any of that product that would be purchased that will be delivered, the taxes would actually be on delivery, not actually there at the location. So that would be actually profiting other locations other than just Lowell. So this is 100% Lowell tax base. Already paid 30% of it, and we're doing something that's not norm. It's on the back side instead of on the front side. I say let's go ahead and waive this and get down the road and let the man open up.
So two things. One is, I would say, for you, Karen, have we as a city spent any funds at all, or will we spend any funds on Gold Spring Road due to his opening the business? Will we as a city spend any road improvement?
Something will need to be done to.
I'm sorry?
Said something will need to be done to South Gold Springs Road at some point. Aaron can probably speak better to that, but your master street plan shows a 3-lane collector.
Are you thinking like Providence?
But that is not because he is developing a business there. That is because we have that on the master street plan.
It could,
It's both.
his business will bring.
It's both.
Yeah, it is
His
both.
business, you think, will bring additional?
It will bring
traffic.
additional traffic to South Gold Springs Road. It will be impactful.
But didn't we determine that RDOT owns?
The south portion below Burrell. So at the entrance to Burrell South.
So here's my, and I know we're under consideration now for your motion. My compromise would be I'm in agreement there. If I'm building that, if I had the business across the street and he got waived, I'm annoyed, very. My recommendation would be to cut the fee. We can still do the 24 month, but cut the fee. Would be my recommendation instead of a full waive.
Split it in half?
Split it in half, do the 24 months, and that's my recommendation. Move on.
You got three.
I will go with that.
Can you recap?
Well, she would have to withdraw her motion.
I am going
Someone
to
recap what we're doing,
Okay,
please. Thank you.
so
She'll need to read.
I am going to rescind my motion to waive the fees and change my motion to cut the fees in half and give a 24-month period to pay said fees. I don't know what the exact dollar amount is.
It's, we're talking the 150.
So we will cut the-
550, we're cutting that to 97,275.
97.
Or 79, sorry, dyslexia.
We're-
Dyslexia, 79,275.
We're cutting the fees in
Yeah,
half
trust
and
me.
giving him the
I wanted to
24
double check
months
my numbers.
to pay the fees.
And I'll second that motion.
Shannon, how's that?
Shannon,
Is that
And
feasible?
This one doesn't.
In 24 months, is that
This
feasible?
is the resolution.
Yes, sir, and again, we'll do our best to cut that down. That's just a security, but yes, sir, we will, that'll be high on our list. We all want this, but that'll be high on our list.
so motion and Roy
We
second.
have motion and a second. Any further discussion on the amended portion?
Amended
I would just like to say personally, Shannon, I like your integrity and the way you handle yourself tonight, and I very much appreciate it.
We appreciate the opportunity to speak. And it's been great working with Ms. Karen, Ms. Lisa, and Seth in particular, and all everyone we've come in contact with the city has been wonderful.
And I can tell you, Ms. Carey speaks highly of you all.
I appreciate that. She's been wonderful to work with, and thank y'all again for your time and patience. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one ask, though. I'm so sorry. Let's make it short. If in 23 months, you're like, hey, we're struggling, you come back to us and have another discussion. That is my only
Yes, sir.
call out.
Fair enough.
That's a request. I'm not saying that put that anywhere on anything. That's just my request to you as a
Yes, we'll stay in
citizen.
communication. And I
He
would
seems
promise.
pretty good with communication.
Yeah, so-
I appreciate that.
That's my only call out.
And I would ask is, Ms. Karen, are you or Jay responsible for keeping track of this balance?
I have a spreadsheet of how much I collect, but Jay is the one who.
I would just ask, I would go a little further, in 12 months' time, just get an update at a future city council meeting in 12 months.
Yep.
I will say per your code, any development has the right to come back in 5 years if that particular road hasn't been built out and ask for their feedback. And it's up to the council to either extend that fee or
Fair enough.
determine if that business is impacting a close by road.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Let's
Any
vote.
further discussion?
Vote.
You would like me to read the amendment, I'm sure. So it now reads like this: a resolution to reduce the fee and approve a development, and approve a request by Ozark Adventure Development at Goat Springs Road to pay the development fee. I'll say the remaining development fee over time. I got rid of all the whereases. But I might put them back in now, since we're going over time, and just add a whereas it says city council wishes to reduce the fee by 1/2, or by 50%, that's reflected in Exhibit A. And then it'll read that City Council of Lowell hereby approves the reduction of the fee in lieu of road improvements by OAP by 50%, and that the resulting amount be paid, and it just continues as written now. So that's what I'll change it to, if that's okay with everybody.
Okay.
I'd like to have it written.
Discussion or further on that? We're gonna vote on that change.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, roll call.
Eric Schein,
Yes.
Roy Brunson.
Yes.
Emily Reach.
Yes.
Adrian Flores.
Yes.
Steve Whitehead.
Yes.
Lisa DeGifford.
Yes.
Brian Sands.
Yes.
Dr. Moon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Now, we're back to a discussion of the actual resolution itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, roll call.
Okay. Adrian Flores.
Yes.
Emily Reach.
Yes.
Steve Whitehead.
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Lisa Gifford.
Yes.
Mike Dodson. Dr. Mooney.
Yes.
And Brian Sanders.
Yes.
Motion passes. 26, resolution is 26-39.
Roy and Emily, one of the things that you guys can do is ask staff to develop a set of criteria to bring to you to consider, so that if this happens again, you'll have some objective criteria to look at and vote on once you adopt them. And like I said, we've had consultants offer to do that for us. People think about this a lot, so if you do that, staff will bring that back to you.
That's fair, thank you.
Please, yes.
Okay.
How do we start that process?
So you can say all in favor of that, what Tom just said. A
Of-
motion to develop criteria, bring them back for consideration.
Get McClellan to work on that, so.
They've offered,
Yeah, they've all do that, so that's something we'll get McClellan to work on.
Okay.
So that's
Skip
fine.
that.
Of course.
Do we need to vote on it?
No, because Kevin's offered, it's,
Sweet.
all right,
Let it.
I'll get that.
last item.
We got discussions yet.
Something you've been
Oh,
working on.
the fireworks.
My turn?
It's hot as a firecracker right now.
I know, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. So, the resolution that we have in our packet, the ordinance that we have in our packet is, not the most current one. This was back from 2024, and we had amended it, and it was either 2021 or 2022. 2022. And this is on the fireworks. I am not requesting a change on the sale. I have got an enormous amount of complaints this year on the length of time that we allow fireworks. I did some research as far as the other cities. There's only one city that is longer than us, and that's Cave Springs. The others are pretty much shorter than us. I think there's one that's the same. Bentonville is only 2 days, actually. So what I would like the council to think about, and we don't have to vote on this tonight, but I wanted to bring it up because I did have so many phone calls this year, is changing our ordinance to allow fireworks the 2nd through the 5th, with the stipulation that if it is a business that is putting on a firework display outside of those days, we would grant them that access. The original reason we changed this back in 2022 was because Wachter does their employee picnic, I believe, and that particular year, it fell on the 6th. And so it was outside of our ordinance, and that's why we had amended the ordinance to go until the 6th. I don't know about any other council members, but I had an enormous amount of phone calls this year. And I understand it was a big 4th of July, but I think it's something that, we could talk about and maybe realign, modify. I'm not saying do it tonight. It's hot as Hades. But I think it's something that we might want to revisit.
Yeah, my three things would be, I'm good with the 2nd to the 5th, completely aligned. I would look at changing the hours. I don't see anybody needs to shoot off fireworks at 9 a.m. So noon should be fine, I understand that. And I would say on the last piece of this, the only day should be till 11 p.m. should be the 4th. That's my three
I like that. I mean, I know the police department got an enormous amount of phone calls. They got phone calls for people doing fireworks at 7 o'clock at night. But I can tell you, I had people doing them until 1:30 in the morning for 6 days straight. And it was, it kept me up, it kept the dogs up. I had phone calls left and right about residents complaining about this. So I think it's something that we might want to revisit.
The only thing I'd like to add is, like with businesses, if they just get a permit.
Yeah.
No.
And I know that we made that change to accommodate Wachter. Watcher, I'm not gonna always mess the name up, but,
Would they have to get a permit anyway?
well, no, because their display fell within, it was on the 6th. They do still have to get a permit?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's covered it, right?
Right, I mean, then, we just need to have it to where the permit would also cover their ability to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was why that extra day was added, was
Yeah.
to allow it. It was like, well, for the permit, I got a permit to do it, but I can't do it because it's the wrong day.
Yeah, but I do love Roy's idea of only having it till 11 o'clock on the 4th.
Otherwise, 9, 8?
It was 10, all the other days are 10, which is this, goes along with our noise ordinance, correct?
Should be, yes.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
our noise ordinance is at 10 o'clock.
So as long as we all understand that this is one of those things that's gonna be next to impossible to enforce.
Yes, but
Be realistic
We have the
about it.
ordinance.
we have the ordinance, so when they get a call on the 1st or the 6th, they can give their very nice warning, and then if they have to go out again, then they do what they need to do.
As a kid that had Roman candle wars, it's really obnoxious for me to even think about doing this, so, yeah, I get you.
And when I say that, I'm talking more the hours, you know.
Oh, the whole thing. Because you shoot off one bottle rocket, you breached it, but that was your last bottle rocket, nobody's gonna know.
But without the ordinance, we have nothing to enforce.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
We did have other discussion items.
Okay.
Oh,
what
sorry,
other items?
I'm sorry.
You better be quick.
Go
I
on.
have a question, well, I have a couple things. One was a question for the gentleman who spoke in the public forum on the ordinance for the buildings. It was not on tonight's agenda. I have a question where he saw that.
I'm sorry,
I don't bring questions to the public. That's, I mean, I understand, but, yeah,
Fair enough. The other thing was, Mr. Trudeau, formerly employee of the city, he had an investigation, as I understand it, into Chief Kuth. Is that correct?
he's out in personnel matters, Trudeau investigations.
I'm not sure. I'm not. Oh, let me see.
Can you ask us
I'll ask what I-
because it deals with a personal matter and it's police, so there's a whole bunch of rules that go involved in this.
We can discuss this in executive session, could we not?
No, because he can't go into executive session,
Who?
I
the
can't.
lawyer.
Okay, so I'm
He's in
asking,
HR.
so I'm asking,
You
Yes.
could ask,
can I ask, you don't have to go into executive session.
No, I
with
don't.
us. You don't have to.
no, I can't.
yeah,
Executive sessions are for the subject of termination, suspension,
Yes, is there-
resignation, or demotion of an employee or officer, so.
Right, and,
If you're gonna consider one of those, then yeah, you could go into executive session.
okay, and there are people in administration that could also go into executive session with us.
You-
That
you
would
can
have the
call-
answers that,
The people who are involved in that, you can call them in. So if someone's involved in that, like, line of supervision, you know, like, you would, if you said the street manager to talk about the demotion or suspension of a street employee, you could bring the manager in as well as the employee.
okay. Give me just a minute.
I would like some clarification on what's been circulating regarding FOIA requests. I understand you can't give all the information. I have people calling me asking, and I have no answers to give them on termination documents that were never I have no information to give them. What information, there's not been a public.
Termination documents for,
The FOIA request
For-
regarding the video that was circulating online,
I'm not from,
the
one,
YouTube video,
okay, for its police.
I get,
You-
yeah, the.
Yeah, there aren't any, so yeah, I know that one, there are no termination documents, there's no resignation written, there's no, that's what I've been told, and there's no, other document that's permitted to be released. You know, if something in a person's file that reflects on their performance does not result in termination or
So there's no
demotion,
termination,
you can't give it out.
demotion,
That's
firing,
correct.
Anything?
No, there was a sua sponte resignation. Yeah.
There's a what?
Someone resigned without, warning, let's say. Just left.
Is there some statement that y'all could put out? I don't know how to
I
answer
have.
those questions.
I have. I've done-
Like a
I've-
public statement that has been said, because
Well,
I cannot answer those questions.
No, I've given, that's responsibility been given to all the requesters.
But the requesters are claiming they have not been given any information. That's why I'm saying I
I know.
have people in the community asking me.
Because, yeah, people keep saying, no, there is a termination document, but there isn't.
So he just resigned.
Yeah, he did. That's my
If
understanding.
you can forward those requests, we can get something so that the city attorney can provide that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
In regard to the executive session, would one have to happen if I could just ask the appropriate people in administration?
Executive session for,
Could I
Yeah.
ask these questions outside of
Sure.
yeah.
council meeting or?
Yeah, you can ask.
Okay. Mr. Kiklak, would they carry the same legal weight?
How do you mean?
Well, so if we were to go into an executive session to ask these questions, there's an assumption that there's more of a request to answer these questions honestly and truthfully, I would assume, versus outside, is there less of?
No, the
or is there
executive
more?
session is, the whole idea of it is to allow people to speak, freely when they would not want to embarrass someone, or just embarrass themselves, let's say. They're shy about what they would say, so they can say it in executive session. But nothing that happens in there has any effect unless there's an actual vote taken on or the decision itself. So I don't think there's a qualitative difference between just talking to someone, let's say with the door closed in private, and an executive session. The thing about the executive session is the entire council could be in there. That's the whole, it's like a separate meeting that's in secret, so.
I see.
And I know you said you can't ask, but if the meeting's over, is he allowed to ask a question to a member of the public?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Just making sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I move that we go into an executive session for the purpose of personnel
Tonight?
issues.
Tonight?
Yes.
Well, we don't have a member of HR here, so, but I'm happy, if you want to make a motion to go into executive session, absolutely.
Are you not a member of administration?
I am, but I am not HR.
Right. But you can answer questions, can you, in that regard?
In regards to HR, no, I am not HR. I am administration, but I am not HR.
You can legally answer questions in a public, or in a executive session.
I can, yes.
Okay. I do have some questions.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I move that we move council to an executive session.
I have a motion to go into into an executive session.
No question. Second.
It's not second, so it fails. There's no second.
I said second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Emily, did you give a second?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
She did.
Okay, Adrian, we're going into executive session to discuss, we can't say what we're discussing?
No, you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, not with specificity, but like, you have to say, it's,
Personnel issues.
Pertaining
Well-
to the emails that we have all received within the last week, is that what this is regarding?
Yes, that's adjacent, yes.
And that's the only way you can ask your questions, is if we're in executive session, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't say anything more out here.
I don't know what the emails are. Okay, so a motion and a second. All those, is it roll call or those in favor? How does this one go?
You can do a roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Roy Brunson,
No.
Emily Reach,
Yes.
Adrian Flores,
Yes.
Steve Whitehead,
No.
Lisa Gifford,
Yes.
Brian Sands,
No.
and Dr. Mooney.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so council will go into executive session at 8:41.